Supriya, 6 seats in Unnao go to vote today. If you look at the tally, 2017, 5 were swept by the Bharatiya Janata Party, 1 by the BSP. All eyes also now on the candidate fielded by Congress. Tell us why.
Well, certainly, yes. The Congress's candidate is Asha Singh, the Unnao rape victim's mother. And she's very upbeat. We have seen Priyanka Gandhi coming in and doing campaigning for her. The entire Ladki Hu Lad Sakti Hu campaign was launched, and the first candidate whose name was announced was Asha Singh from Unnao Sadar, where we are at the moment, Preeti. And the Congress's entire campaign has been around Ladki Hu Lad Sakti Hu, and they said that 40% seats, 40% tickets have to be given to the women, so that more and more women can represent the women force of Uttar Pradesh in the assembly. Well, when we spoke to Asha Singh, she categorically stated that there is no law and order in the state of Uttar Pradesh. She didn't get a justice, and she wants to fight for the daughters and the sisters of hers in the state of Uttar Pradesh. Interestingly, I would like to show you here where we are at the polling station. Look at the queues. Well, on one of the walls it is written, "Wake up UP, wake up." So it's really interesting that the Election Commission today will be smiling, because a lot of people have turned out to vote in large numbers. Till 9 a.m. the polling percentage was around 9.10%. And interestingly also, this was earlier the bastion of Samajwadi Party, and this is where a lot of people are saying that Samajwadi Party can make a comeback. BJP has repeated its own candidate, but as far as this entire constituency of Unnao is concerned, 5 seats were won by BJP and 1 by BSP. So now the Samajwadi Party has also tried its level best to come back, to make a comeback in Unnao. What is really interesting here is, Preeti, that as far as this seat is concerned of Unnao, we have seen that a lot of people who are coming out here and are voting are also talking about the series of rapes which took place here, and they were really, they made headlines at the national level also. One thing which has just happened is that Priyanka Gandhi, who's the Congress is in charge of Uttar Pradesh, has tweeted about the Lakhimpur Kheri incident. She has said it is really very unfortunate that the victims' family members have to go to the Supreme Court instead of the government itself. So Lakhimpur Kheri is still in the eye of storm. We are seeing as to how the political messaging as well as the political attacks are taking place on the BJP. Priyanka Gandhi will be in Amethi today. She will be campaigning, and we already know that as far as the Congress party is concerned, their entire Ladki Hu Lad Sakti Hu campaign litmus test will be here in Unnao Sadar, from where Asha Singh is contesting.
Well, you know, this is the Congress really, at least on ground, with what our reporters have been saying, not quite in the game like it would have wanted to. But yes, that seat of Unnao extremely important if Priyanka Gandhi needs to register her campaign of Ladki Hu Lad Sakti Hu. You know, that is extremely important there. Appreciate you joining us, Supriya. From Supriya, let's cut across to my colleague Amit, who's joining me. Amit Bhardwaj from Fatehpur. Amit, how's the voting going? Brisk voting morning in Fatehpur. Give us an insight into the constituency where you're standing.
Preeti, since morning what we have been seeing that at least the Sadar constituency is witnessing a very low voters turnout. In the first 3 phases we had witnessed that in the initial 3 hours the voting percentage was much higher, but this time around that trend is changing and you have lower percentage of voters in the first 3 hours. However, now we believe that the voters have started to come out in larger numbers. As far as the 6 constituencies of Fatehpur are concerned, in 2017 the BJP alliance, that is BJP and Apna Dal, had swept all 6 seats, and Apna Dal in fact had a MLA and minister from Binki. But this time around, you know, the BJP is facing a stiff challenge from the Samajwadi Party alliance. What is very interesting about the 6 seats of Fatehpur is that in the initial phases we had seen that the key factor were a couple of communities who decided as to whether a particular candidate is winning the election or not. But this time around it's about a variety of castes and communities that would decide the fate of candidates in the electoral fray. For instance, in Fatehpur you have Muslim vote bank, along with that Mauryas and Kurmis and Yadavs are going to play a big role in this, you know, in the eventual result of in whose favor these constituencies go. You also have from Husainganj, a minister in the Yogi Adityanath government, Ravanendra Pratap Singh, who had managed to win from a Muslim-dominated constituency in 2017. But this time around, he is also facing a stiff challenge from the Samajwadi Party candidate Usha Maurya, who belongs from the Maurya community, and as well as they are also, in a way banking on the Muslim and Yadav community vote bank in that particular constituency. So, this particular constituency, or the district rather, is going to become a litmus test of Samajwadi Party's larger alliance. Because so far in the western Uttar Pradesh, we had seen that Samajwadi Party and the Rashtriya Lok Dal was depending on the Muslim and Jat vote bank along with the Yadav vote bank. But as the election progresses in Fatehpur, what you see is that the fate of Samajwadi Party, or for that matter Bahujan Samaj Party, would depend upon the fact that whether they are able to go beyond their core vote bank, whether they are able to attract the Mauryas, the Kurmis, the other non-Yadav OBCs as well as the other non-Jatav Dalits towards them or not. And if the Samajwadi Party alliance, or for that matter BSP, manages to do that, in that particular case, the BJP is all set to witness a very stiff, very strong challenge from the opposition. However, the BJP would want to repeat its numbers. You have Ravanendra Pratap Singh contesting from Husainganj, from Vindki. You have another tall stalwart, and you also have very, leader MP from this particular constituency in Samajwadi Party's state chief, who is also casting his vote today here in Fatehpur. So it's going to be an interesting contest in Fatehpur's 6th assembly, along with the basic issues of health infrastructure and chutta pashu, that is stray cattle.